What's up, people? It's time to react to Sawtooth Waves. And I didn't know exactly which videos to watch, so I sorted his channel by most popular and clicked on a few vids that looked interesting. I think there's like 4 or 5. Most of them are short. The only long one is this first one, which is going to be the truth about Flurry Heart. So yeah, I guess I'll just get started with that one and then do the other short ones after that. Sounds good? Good. Okay. The truth about Flurry Heart. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
The birth of an alicorn is something Equestria has never seen.
It is beyond even our understanding.
Oh. You're not satisfied?
Celestia and Luna were not born alicorns. Welp, everything I thought I knew.
Huh. Oh yeah, that's right.
Curse you, Flurry the Alicorn! You see this? This is the face of pure evil. Seriously though,
It's
call me
cute.
Pinkie Pie in
She's
that one
cute.
episode because I want my canon back. Actually, it wasn't Baby Snow Demon here that dropped the bomb. It was
Why are they
Celestia
calling her a
Luna.
demon?
When it was revealed that Cadence and Shining's baby was an alicorn, I wasn't at all surprised. After all, that's how most of the fandom thought pony genetics worked. Well, put down your Punnett squares, because apparently this isn't normal. The fact that Flurry was an alicorn wasn't even the shock, it was everyone's reaction. The only thing that told us this was unusual was Twilight's face here, and later the princess's explanation. It's as if Celestia and Luna's past as non-alicorns was common knowledge. This is an example of bad writing, if you ask me, but no one's asking me.
Hey, they needed to get those toys.
Anyway, since we're talking about alicorns again, I might as well look the part. The perks of being a changeling.
Nice.
That's right, I'm an alicorn now. Sue me. Or marry Sue me. Since you're watching this video, chances are you've also seen this one. Are there other alicorns?
No, but I will.
1.5 million views now, which is absolutely mind-numbingly incredible. Not to sound
get
ungrateful,
views, bro.
but I'm not sure if that's entirely a good thing. In that video, I made a confident claim that Celestia and Luna were born alicorns.
I'm getting
I also
spoiled.
said there were only 4 alicorn princesses. Yeah, well, both of those statements are wrong now, and I've been getting hundreds of comments that all basically say the same thing. You forgot Flurry Heart. Flurry Heart is an alicorn. You forgot Flurry Heart, dude. Flurry Heart is a acorn. There are
Not many
5
people do
princesses.
research on when it was uploaded.
Flurry Heart is an alicorn. If you include Fluffy
Flurry
Heart,
Heart is
I think her name
alicorn.
is
Fucking
5.
Fluffy Heart.
Flurry
What?
Heart is the only
Her name is 5?
They call the baby of Cadence is the first that born.
What the fuck?
Fact is, the video's outdated. There are now 5 known alicorns in Equestria. You got the
Yup.
Princess of the Sun, the Princess of the Moon, the Princess of Love, the Princess of Friendship, and the Princess of Merchandise.
Yeah.
Buy our toys. Buy our toys. Buy our toys.
And of those 5, only one of them was actually born an alicorn. So I'm gonna re-explore the question, are there other alicorns, through this new lens? Call it a sequel. Let me start by asking a seemingly simple
I
question.
guess they never did
Is
explain.
Cadence the first alicorn to give birth? Because if the answer is yes, then Celestia and Luna shouldn't be all that surprised. If this was the first baby born to an alicorn mother, they would have simply made the connection, called it genetics,
Yeah.
and moved on. We know Equestria has a basic understanding of genetics, so I would expect a reaction more like, oh, so that's what happens when an alicorn has a baby. Not
Yeah,
the birth
probably.
of an alicorn is something Equestria has never seen. The latter is quite a sweeping statement for a sample space of 5. This convinces me that there have been other alicorns. Now imagine that I'm right. Hundreds of alicorns have existed in the past, and not once have any of them given birth
Hundreds?
to an alicorn. Now
We probably would
Celestia's
have heard
statement
about
makes a lot more
the-
sense. This is the premise my theory is based
Celestia and
on.
Luna of
I
like
present
1,000
to you My
years.
history of Celestia, Luna, and the Alicorns. Before Season 6, I always assumed that Princess Celestia and Princess Luna came from an ancient Alicorn civilization, some great land outside of Equestria. They definitely seem to have come from somewhere else when they stopped Discord's reign and started their own. The new episode initially brought doubts to this theory. I mean, if Celestia and Luna had to earn being an Alicorn, then it would be easy to assume that they were taught by mentors, just like how they taught Twilight and Cadence. You could also assume that their
Star
mentors were
Swirl
taught
was
by mentors
their
as
mentor.
well. This idea indicates
But he was an
generational
alicorn.
model. A smattering of mentors and their proteges, like a magical baton being passed from generation of alicorn to generation. Though this does seem to be where Starlight fits in, the explanation didn't really satisfy me. Think about
Starlight
the
getting
questions that
wings.
still remain under this assumption.
What
Why
if?
do the royal sisters have flowing hair while Twilight and Cadence don't? They both became alicorns the same way, right? If it's just alicorns all the way up
Just
the chain,
wait.
then who are the first alicorns? And where did did Celestia and Luna come from when they stopped Discord? We don't even have a shot in the dark at these
We
questions.
never find out.
However, after digging a little deeper, the pieces of the Alicorn puzzle started to come together. I came to the conclusion that this entire assumption is wrong. There was an Alicorn civilization. Yes, one that fits in the new canon. Let me explain how this works. Before Flurry Heart came into the mix, most of us were convinced that Celestia and Luna were born Alicorns and to Alicorn parents. However, we can't hold this to be true anymore without calling Celestia and Luna flat-out liars. Well, at least not the first part. They may not have been born Alicorns, but it's still possible that the two sisters were born
What
to
if it's
Alicorn parents.
impossible to have a male Alicorn?
There was an Alicorn civilization, but no one was actually born in Alicorn. Earning one's wings may have been a coming-of-age type of thing.
Well, yeah, because I feel like, yeah, you earn your wings or whatever, or your horn.
These ponies in this civilization would earn their wings. Side note, I just want to get this out of the way. I think some Alicorns may have started off as Pegasi, earning their horns instead of wings. In the first scene with Flurry Heart, Brony makes a comment about how she thought Alicorn wings had to be earned, and the others voiced the same confusion. Some people use this as evidence towards the theory that Pegasi can't become Alicorns, and that, unlike the Crystal Heart spell, Cadence actually started off as a unicorn. Rarity's line doesn't necessarily mean that all Alicorns started out as unicorns. She's just going off of the transformation most familiar to her, Twilight's. Directly after, Celestia and Luna never confirm or deny this, but I still think Cadence was originally a Pegasus. It's been shown that you can contain and even manipulate magic without a horn, so it still works.
I thought in that season 4
even started off as Earth ponies.
Discord
Anyway,
episode,
back to
she
the
was like,
civilization. Alicorns give birth to non-Alicorns.
not good at flying.
Who become Alicorns, then they give birth to non-Alicorns, who become Alicorns, and so on and so forth. Non-Alicorns in the civilization would be about as common as blank flanks in Equestria. It could be that these ponies earn their wings and horns along with their cutie marks. Now, there's a question lots of people are likely
But
asking.
don't other people have to give it to them?
If Celestia and Luna earned their way into being an Alicorn just like Twilight and Cadence, why do they appear so different? Well, because they are. It's important that we establish
Or they're just not old enough.
Alicorn civilization ponies and the Equestrian ponies. Bet you can't guess what the difference is. Yep, magic.
Magic.
As I explained,
There is magic.
Alicorns must contain a large amount of magic. Every pony born in the Alicorn civilization is born with much more magic than ponies in Equestria. Each one of them will become an Alicorn. It's just part of their biology.
This is a lot
They
to
don't
assume.
need other ponies to do the transformation for them. It just happens naturally, like a cutie mark. On the other hoof, your typical equestrian pony just doesn't have what it takes. In your dreams. Even equestrian ponies with a lot of magic still won't turn into an Alicorn without intervention. And those are the key words. Celestia intervened with Twilight's and Cadence's biology. Equestrian ponies aren't meant to become Alicorns.
So you think it's two different
Twilight and Cadence's
races?
Destiny, but that doesn't mean it was natural. These two are artificial, which is why their hair doesn't do the same wavy thing. Now it's a question of motivation that looms over our
This video is old.
For example, why did Celestia and Luna leave the Alicorn civilization in the first place? Also, what was the purpose of turning Twilight and Cadence into Alicorns? I'm going to explain with a story. This is where equestrian history comes in, and I have to admit, this is more like a headcanon or a fanfiction than it is
there's a lot of...
But hang in there. This story changes everything. A long time ago, there lived a great Alicorn civilization. The civilization never interacted with Equestria and its inhabitants. They didn't have a reason to. In Equestria's early days, there was little technology, the three tribes never got along, and the quality of life was just bad. So the civilization remained uninvolved and indifferent. But that all changed with Discord. Using Equestria as a foot in the door, Discord put the Alicorn civilization at stake. Because of this,
I feel like we
two
would have
Alicorns were sent to
heard
restore the
more
peace and to make sure
about
it
a
didn't
whole
go away.
Alicorn civilization.
This is why Celestia and Luna left their home, to help Equestria get back on its hoofs. But as we know, peace didn't last as long as Celestia had hoped. Luna's rebellion kept both of them from returning to their home, for what Celestia knew would be at least 1,000 years. After Nightmare Moon was banished, there were now two problems standing between the Royal Sisters and their home. Equestria had become dependent on the Alicorn rulership, so even if Luna was back, they could never justify leaving.
I feel like there would have been more
Luna
interaction with a
and
whole
Equestria were nowhere as magical
Alicorn
as
empire.
the Alicorns, but there were some very powerful ponies. So Celestia founded her school for talented unicorns. Centuries of searching for a worthy replacement ultimately yielded no success. There were some promising candidates, but no one quite met the mark. Something was missing. Enter the main six. Twilight Sparkle had shown promise just like many before her, but this was different. In a wondrous feat of harmony and magic, the main six brought back Celestia's sister. Twilight Sparkle was the one she had been looking for, a powerful pony with 5 close friends to fall back on. Celestia could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. But even with Luna back, the initial problems still remained. Equestria still needed them, so Celestia brought Twilight up under her wing, preparing her to be an Alicorn herself. She knew an Alicorn leader would be revered in many ways a Unicorn leader just wouldn't be. This was to ensure loyalty from all ponies of Equestria. Throughout the next few years, more trouble came Equestria's way. With each consecutive disaster, the main six became more and more capable, and the Royal Sisters became less and less necessary. Equestria was finally becoming independent, and the princesses could soon return home. And that brings us to the present. The main six not only protect from disaster, but promote well-being and harmony.
I get it's unfair to be looking at this from the season 9 finale.
Are almost free to go home, back to the Alicorn civilization, to their parents, possible siblings, maybe even children. We don't know anything about Celestia and Luna's life before they ruled Equestria, but I think this story matches up with the facts pretty well. So where does this theory put our two
Probably
coolest
at this
characters,
point, this
Starlight and
might have been a good idea.
Let's start with Starlight. If it's true that Celestia and Luna plan on returning to their home, they have yet to pass the reins over to Twilight and her friends, because something very important has yet to be done. A big part of ruling Equestria is finding a successor. Celestia and Luna don't just need a successor, but a successor for their successor. If they were to leave
They could have just
Twilight in
trusted
charge
Twilight to
right
find
now,
one.
with little ability to recognize good leadership, there would only be order as long as Twilight ruled. By the time she inevitably steps down, Equestria will fall back into disorder and require assistance once again. Twilight still needs to learn how to do what Celestia has been doing
That would
for
be a
centuries,
while.
finding someone to take her place when eventually she ends her rule. Since Starlight is roughly the same age as Twilight, I doubt she'll be replacing her, but she is good practice for the real deal. Well, you know what they say, teach a pony to rule Equestria, and Equestria will be ruled for a lifetime. But teach a pony to teach a pony to rule Equestria, and Equestria will be ruled forever.
Oh, what a saying.
That was a mouthful. On the question of whether or not she'll become an Alicorn, I think yes. She has the magical potential, and I wouldn't put giving Starlight wings beyond Twilight's ability. Plus,
Damn,
as
bro.
far as powerful rulers go, the more the merrier. Twilight is going to need all the help she can get. After all, she does have rather big shoes to fill.
As Clown Mayor of Ponyville, I know I have some big shoes to fill.
What the fuck?
No way I'm buying a t-shirt now.
Even though Malarson seems to be done with the show, I think another Alicorn is still a possibility. So that's Starlight, but she's not the one everyone's freaking out about. Where does this theory put good old McFlurry Heart? Well,
Oh,
in this
God.
model, being born an Alicorn would be like someone being born with their cutie mark, in which case we have a good reason to be shocked along with the other ponies. Or do we?
Oh,
Because there's one more awesome thing about this theory that I haven't revealed yet.
Okay.
It explains the anomaly that is Flurry Heart. Remember when I said that no one in the Alicorn civilization has ever given birth to an Alicorn? Well, Cadence isn't from the Alicorn civilization.
how do we know this thing
These
exists?
are two entirely different types of Alicorns. Of course childbirth wouldn't work the same way. Like I said, Cadence's biology changed when she became an Alicorn, and it looks like that spread to her genes. That's right, Cadence's baby is every part as artificial as she is. Unlike the civilization ponies, Flurry Heart is not a true Alicorn. That's why she didn't have to earn her wings. They were inherited from her mother's artificial genetics.
It is an interesting
this is
theory.
Something that might not have happened if Cadence became an Alicorn naturally, like the Royal Sisters.
About
Now, we don't
untrue
know this for
Alicorns,
sure,
but-
there are two firsts going on here. The first artificial Alicorn to give birth, and the first
What a
one being born
screenshot.
as an Alicorn. We only changed one major variable and got a different result. Of course, correlation doesn't imply causality, but I'm pretty confident that there is a connection. So don't put your Punnett squares away just yet. But hey, that's just a theory. And
Oh.
I really need to end this video before
You
I
stole
literally
that.
transform into MatPat.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with me or not, you can't deny that Flurry Face here is special. No matter how this phenomenon came about, she's the first pony ever to be born with wings and a horn. What exactly this
In
special
Equestria.
entails is a different question entirely. My guess is she'll end up being some sort of chosen one in an upcoming story arc. I also think magically she'll surpass the skills of Twilight. She might even be Twilight's replacement, but there's no way to tell at this point. In review, Celestia and Luna were born and raised in a land where all ponies naturally earn their wings or horns. When Discord took over, they left the Alicorn civilization and came to Equestria to establish peace. They spent their time preparing Equestria to be independent so they could return home. Part of that was finding someone to rule in their place. During their visit, they turned two ponies into artificial Alicorns, one of which gave birth to another artificial Alicorn. The first one being born with the wings and horn combo.
You
which
think they would have
leads us
just
to
told
today.
them about
I've
their
covered
other
a lot of ground in this
Alicorn
video,
empire?
like a lot. So naturally, I'm really curious to see what you guys think. Do you agree, disagree, why or why not? Can you expand on these theories, including other elements from the show? Let me know what you think in the comments. I can't wait to read these. I hope this video will be relevant.
This
for
video
a
got
little longer
millions,
this
so
time. That is before it gets proven
have
wrong
fun
by the next
reading.
glorified toy commercial.
Or
Only time
season
will tell
9.
what the future holds. Until then, this is the Brony Notion, signing out until next time. Bro.
Alright, so I know it's very unfair to be looking back and commenting on this video from when the series is over, but I'm guessing this was made like in season 6, so if I was back then, I think that whole thing about artificial alicorns and real ones might have been plausible, but I don't think I could have bought that there was a whole alicorn empire and just Celestia and Luna never talk about it, or they never interact with Equestria at all these freaking alicorns over here, even with all the shit going down in Equestria. Yeah, I feel like they at least would have mentioned it. Like, I don't see any reason why they would keep it secret. Like, they don't need to worry about protecting it from Equestria or anything. Like, they have a bunch of alicorns there. They can stop anything. But I do think that the whole theory about artificial and real alicorns would have been pretty cool. But then Twilight gets her hair in season 9 finale, so guess that one doesn't work. But with the amount of information this guy had at this point in time, hey, it was a good shot. Okay, it is time. I'm going to be moving on to why are cutie marks in 3s? This is only a minute and a half. Damn. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Play.
Cutie marks can be split into 2 different categories. Single cutie marks
This must have been an
and
old
triple
video.
cutie marks. But why 3 of all numbers?
Are there any cutie marks where it's 2 or 4? Huh.
Triple cutie marks are probably the most common of the 2. I mean, look at the main 6. 4 of their cutie marks are 3 smaller pictures. But what's the significance of the number 3? Last week, I talked about Shining Armor's cutie mark, pointing out that the stars represented a member of the Royal Guard. In the comments, you guys suggested that, along with that, these stars represent the 3 princesses, since Twilight was already taken care of. This would signify Shining Armor's loyalty to the princesses and his job of protecting them. You guys also threw around the possibility of the 3 representing the other 3 members of his family. Let's try this theory out on, say, Applejack. Applejack seems to be the head of the farm and the family, so it would make sense how she's the only one in the family to have a triple cutie mark. But what about ponies like Fluttershy, who seem to live by themselves? Remember that just because a pony doesn't have 3 family members living with her, doesn't mean that ponies
Zephyr
won't have a
Breeze
family
and her
in the
2
future.
parents.
Cutie marks are, after all, for an entire lifetime. They aren't necessarily fulfilled right away. But where else have I heard the number 3? Oh yeah, the 3 tribes. Earth Pony, Unicorn, and Pegasus. Maybe there's a connection here too. But none of these theories are really set in stone. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Oh, that's all you
Leave your
got?
thoughts on the matter in the comments. This is the Brony Notion, signing out until next Wednesday. Brohoof.
And I guess Pinkies could be about her 3 sisters, but then we can just, like, sometimes we include parents and sometimes we don't. Like, I don't think the family correlation, yeah, I just think it's just the best design-wise. Yeah, that was a short video and it seemed pretty old. But yeah, alright, next one. How do ponies get their names? 3, 2, 1, play.
So there's this weird connection between ponies' names and their cutie marks. Lyra has a lyre, Cheese Sandwich has a cheese sandwich, Snips and Snails have, well, Scissors and a Snail, Silver Spoon and Diamond Tiara, you get the point. These are just naming a few. Now this isn't the case across the line, but the fact that it happened more than once is mysterious. Were those ponies called that before they got their cutie marks? And more importantly, how do ponies even get their names?
Oh. I don't know, bro. Maybe their name affects their cutie mark.
You might be thinking, ponies' names are given to them later in life. That would explain a lot. It's possible that the ponies I mentioned before were called one thing up until the point when they got their cutie marks. Once they see like
Little
they go by
pony.
whatever their cutie mark is. This theory has some serious problems, though. Look at Featherweight. He had his name long before he got his cutie mark. Plus, just like us, it seems as if all ponies name their kids at birth. Take the baby cakes, for example. I would be surprised if their cutie marks didn't end up having to do with pumpkin cake and pound cake. And think about
Oh god,
CMC.
what
If
were
their
they
cutie
in the
marks
season
don't
9
end up
finale?
matching their names, names, I doubt they would start going by something else. So we're back to square one. Let's figure out what's going on here. I'm pretty sure we can assume that most ponies aren't psychic. I'm sure there are exceptions, but Filthy Rich probably wasn't looking into the future when he named his daughter Diamond Tiara. But what if the job of naming new ponies doesn't belong to the parents? Like I said, the parents can predict the future, but what if someone else can? Someone who can see the destinies of the newborn ponies and name them likewise. Is it possible that Celestia names them? In the past,
Celestia
has
names
been shown to have
every
an incredible
pony in
amount of
Equestria?
foresight, especially regarding destiny. Maybe Celestia personally visits newborns and names them. It is just a theory, but let's say it's true. Would every pony be named by Celestia? Remember, not all names in Cutie Marks match up. Well, I think yes. Even when there's a difference between name and Cutie Mark, most of the time both relate to the character of the pony in question. Notice Rarity's name isn't Diamonds, but because diamonds are rare, her name still fits her. Also, Balloons doesn't make for a very good name, but the name Pinkie Pie gives a similar impression. See what I mean? Names and Cutie Marks are two totally different mediums, so it only makes sense that one looking into a pony's destiny wouldn't always name the pony according to their Cutie Mark. The future talents and character of a newborn pony are unknown. Because of this, I'm convinced that ponies are named by someone who does know. Not necessarily Celestia.
I don't know
This name
about
has to
that.
be a person. It's a possibility that some force tells parents what to name the pony, directly or subconsciously. Although the answer could be a lot simpler. Who knows? Maybe everyone was just born with labels. There's lots of possibilities, but what do you guys think? I want to hear what you have to say in the comments. This is the Brony Notion, signing out until next time. Bro hoof. Blank flanks? More like dank flanks.
Is that shit from like 2014 when the MLG craze was going on? Okay. Yeah, I don't buy that Celestia names every single pony and just so randomly chooses to name them after their Cutie Marks sometimes. Nah. The only explanation for that I could think of is that maybe when they name them at birth, their name helps mold their personality and therefore helps mold their Cutie Mark over time as people interact with them and they do stuff and pursue interests. And just sometimes it works out that the Cutie Mark is a lot similar to their name. That's all I got about that theory. Alright, how do Cutie Marks work in the human world is up next. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Many of the characters in Canterlot High wear the Cutie Marks of their pony equivalent somewhere on their clothes. But as far as we know, humans don't have Cutie Marks. So how
that
do they
we know
what
of.
their
Hey, let's do some investigating. Rarity, you're up first.
Now, I have a couple theories that try to explain why humans and Equestria girls wear the same symbols that appear on their pony counterparts. Theory 1 is that humans actually do have Cutie Marks, but we just haven't seen them, because, well, humans don't exactly go around naked like this. Because this magically appearing tattoo holds a special significance to that human, many would wear it on their clothes. It's worth mentioning that the Cutie Mark Crusaders don't wear any specific symbols, while others their age do, like Snips and Snails. This lines up with the alternate world, where those three haven't found their symbols yet. The first library scene adds some more credibility. The three play the exact same song from the Showstoppers. It's really uncanny how the song would be so similar, considering the fact that the original song was written about the three looking for their Cutie Marks. Maybe Cutie Marks are a thing in the human world too. Here's my next theory. What if human Cutie Marks appeared on their clothes instead of their skin? The only real piece of evidence I could use to back this one is the fact that Twilight's clothes had her Cutie Mark on them. And it's not like that skirt was picked by Twilight either. Her clothes just magically appeared on her upon her entrance through the portal.
Well, they kinda
The
needed
downside
to,
this theory
unless...
is, well, not every human has their Cutie Mark on their clothing. At least not notably. Here's my third theory. Perhaps the worlds are more connected than we thought. Other than the obvious connections, the portal in Sunset Shimmer's book, we have Pinkie Pie. In Equestria Girls, on both sides of the portal, Pinkie knew exactly what was going on the
Well, that's
other
just
side.
Pinkie
I
Pie.
mean, we are talking about Pinkie Pie here.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that surprising. But I think the two Pinkie Pies are connected somehow.
Just a hunch.
It's possible that ponies see bits and pieces of their human counterparts' life in the other world, and vice versa. I don't think they'd be able to remember their dreams.
I don't have any
Pinkie
dreams
would
where I'm a
just be an
pony.
exception. Although isn't she always? In this theory, choosing to wear the symbols they see in their dreams would be more of a subconscious thing. If you were to ask Rainbow Dash why she wore that cloud with a bolt, she might say something along the lines of, I don't know, it just seemed
So you
fitting."
think it's
This would be similar
dreams?
to how dolphins are significant to Sapphire Shores, because she sees them in her dreams, even though Sapphire Shores is a blank flank. Interestingly enough, the different world adds some
Wait, what?
problems to the idea of every human having the same Cutie Mark as their pony equivalent.
Sapphire Shores
I'll
is a
use
blank
Rainbow Dash
flank?
as an example again.
I don't think human Rainbow Dash will ever clear the clouds or do a sonic rainbow, so her cutie mark doesn't really match with her character in the same way it does for our Rainbow Dash.
I mean,
and even better,
she can run pretty damn
Twilight.
fast.
Human Twilight has never
Eventually.
met the human main 6, and she certainly isn't a princess of friendship. It would make even less sense for original human Twilight to have the same cutie mark as Pony Twilight. I've mentioned in a previous video that if original human Twilight went through the portal, she would be a unicorn, because she never had the chance to master the magic of friendship and become an alicorn.
Oh yeah,
Perhaps her cutie mark could be
what
different
happened when
too,
she did
maybe
that?
like a book or something.
Was she a
The thing
unicorn?
is, we haven't seen Twilight's cutie mark on original human Twilight,
In,
so maybe Hasbro caught on to this. I don't
Spring
know.
Breakdown,
Let me
I
know
think.
what you guys think in the comments. This is the Brony Notion, signing out until next Wednesday. Brohoof.
Yeah, was Twilight...
Love a scratch behind the old ears.
Gah.
Yeah, okay, that was a good scene. Was Twilight a unicorn or an alicorn? I think she was a unicorn. So yeah, you were right on that. If I'm remembering correctly. And I guess your theory about dreams, I mean, it could work. It's an interesting theory. I mean, it's not disprovable, but... yeah, I think it's just... yeah, since they're basically the same person, just in a different world, that symbolism is basically gonna come up in either world somehow, since it's the same people. But yeah, okay. And for the last video today, it is, are there other Alicorns? The outdated one I got partially spoiled on in the first vid. And this one's gonna be even older, so good luck, brother. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Alicorns, the unicorns with wings, or the
Yep.
Pegasi with horns, I guess. You know what I mean. As of right now, there are 4 Alicorn princesses in Equestria.
What about
One used to
Flurry
be an
Heart?
Alicorn, and according to Twilight Sparkle and the Crystal Heart spell, another used to be a Pegasus.
The fuck?
So, is an Alicorn something you can become? What about Celestia and Luna? Did they become Alicorns at one
Is
point?
that book
Or
canon?
were they born Alicorns?
Oh god, your friends is so much louder than the video. Gets me every time.
You know what? I feel like being an Alicorn today. Yeah, I know, Alicorn OCs, Mary Sue, blah blah blah, who cares?
Changeling
Anyway, ever
OC
since Ink
overpowered.
posted this video on the subject, it's pretty widely accepted by the fandom that there are 2 types of Alicorns. Naturally born Alicorns like Celestia and Luna, and artificial Alicorns like Twilight and Cadence.
That's
Even
accepted?
Cal said Celestia and Luna were both born Alicorns. Besides, a big difference can be seen between the 2 sets of princesses. Celestia and Luna don't seem to have aged at all. Even 1,000 years before, they looked the same. Meanwhile, Cadence looks very different from her appearance in Twilight's flashback. And compared to 1,000 years, that wasn't so long ago. Okay, so that question's pretty much answered. But
And
there's
she
so
must have
much
got her
we
horn
still don't know
early.
about Alicorns. For example, what makes Alicorns so special?
Oh my god.
wait, I already played the intro.
It don't
As I was
irate me
saying,
again.
If an Alicorn is just a unicorn with wings, then why is every single Alicorn a princess? We know the correlation between Alicorns and royalty is pretty well known, even to someone as isolated as Starlight Glimmer was. But Twilight could easily just whip up a spell that gives a unicorn wings. Heck, she already has. Albeit they were butterfly wings,
Yeah.
and didn't last very long, but the question still stands. Say Twilight magically gave a unicorn a pair of normal Pegasus wings.
I don't think you can do
Would
that.
that person become royalty? No. There's another variable here that explains the difference between true Alicorns and normal ponies. Magic.
It's magic.
Each of the 4 true Alicorns have a very strong magic. The episode Twilight's Kingdom confirmed just how special Alicorn magic is. Twilight, who contained the magic of 4 Alicorns, was evenly matched against T-Rex, who had the magic of literally everyone else. A common question people seem to ask me a lot is why only Twilight became an Alicorn? Each of the main 6 helped to spread friendship around Equestria, so why don't they all become princesses? Turns out the answer is
She was
right
Celestia's
here.
pupil.
Twilight was always very magical. She is, after all, the element of magic. Magically speaking, the other 5 just don't have what it takes. Now, the process of becoming an Alicorn is still very vague. We know Twilight was born with the raw potential, and we can assume the sisters were too. However, Cadence we don't really know much
Oh,
about.
God.
Even though she was a Pegasus, it's been shown that you don't need a horn to hold magic. Maybe she had the same type of magical potential that Twilight had. And actually, now that I think about it, who says Twilight Sparkle and the Crystal Heart spell is even a valid source of information? It's
Yeah, is it
possible that
canon?
Cadence started out as a unicorn just like Twilight. But like I said, it's not the physical wings and horn combo that makes an Alicorn special. It has to be their magic. Now, back to naturally born Alicorns. This is a topic I find really interesting because it's an area the show has never expanded upon. There's only 2 naturally born Alicorns that we know of. Now, obviously I'm not counting the various animation errors, but here's the big question. Are there any other naturally born Alicorns?
Oh my god.
Cut! Anyway, I like to believe that there are other Alicorns out there.
The big picture setup of the MLP universe might have a wider scope than we thought. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an entire kingdom of Alicorns in some Olympus-like setting, maybe in a land outside Equestria. Since Celestia and Luna exist, you have to wonder if they came from Alicorn parents. Maybe they have an entire Alicorn family. What if there is a third sister of the stars? Maybe throw some male Alicorns into the mix? Who knows?
Whoa,
All I know is that the
that's a lot.
storyline potential for this is endless. Now, the reason why I assumed an Olympus-like setting is because Alicorns have been likened to gods and ponies to demigods. I absolutely love this idea because it also explains my theory about magic. The Alicorns, gods and goddesses, have much more magic than the demigod ponies. And just like Greek mythology, they're also the mortals, who have magic in very small amounts, if any at all. What do you guys think? Is magic what makes Alicorns special? Are there natural Alicorns other than Celestia and Luna? And do you even consider Celestia and Luna to be natural Alicorns in the first place? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Until then, this is the Brony Notion, signing out until next time. Brohoof.
Okay. So, yeah, about different things having magic even without a horn. I guess since in the season 8, it's the season 8 finale, right? Where all the beings get locked up and magic is faded through all of Equestria. Yeah, that means I guess beings can have magic even though they don't have a horn. It's because of that. But yeah, that thing about natural and artificial Alicorns, I don't know, that has a lot of potential, but then Twilight gets the flowing hair and everything in the season 9 finale. But yeah, I still don't think there's an Alicorn kingdom. There's just, that would have come up somehow. But are there other Alicorns? I mean, I know that in the comics, there's some Alicorn thing, princess, like the original Crystal Princess. I haven't read about it yet, but yeah, I'm assuming the comics are canon. But yeah, interesting theories, Sawtooth Waves, interesting theories. But that's where I'm going to have to call it for this video. It was fun toying around with different ideas about the show, even though I know a lot of these videos are pretty old. And yeah. But Sawtooth Waves. You make some nice videos, my guy, and they get a lot of views. Jesus. Thank you all for watching. Peace.